Hello, everybody, and welcome to another week of Outside the Ropes. I'm your host of Outside the Ropes, as always, Matthew Moore. Welcome to this week's edition of Outside the Ropes. Hope you're all doing really well out there, and thank you once again for tuning in, as always. I'd like to welcome you this week to my home. We're not at the usual Outside the Ropes recording location. We're actually back here at my home. The reason being we're back here at my home is because I'm sure you can probably hear in my voice. I actually have a pretty bad cold. I wasn't well last week, and just as I thought I was starting to get better again, this bug decided to come back and grace its presence upon me. So I am currently under the weather. But I gave a call to the bosses of this show and told them that I would record the podcast from my home because I did want to see the show go out as normal. Guys, hope you're all doing really well out there, apart from myself, of course. Big thank you once again to everybody who tuned in to last week's edition of Outside the Ropes. Whether it be you download the podcast on our usual sources of iTunes or Speaker, or you listen to us on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere else you listen to us. A big thank you once again and great feedback from all you listeners as always. But before we get into any more of big news coming out of the world of professional wrestling this week, I just want to give a shout out to our friends and partners of this podcast. If you're historians of professional wrestling, just like myself and most people who listen to this podcast, Wrestling's Past is your location. Don't forget to check out their website, guys, wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and on Twitter at Wrestling'sPast for all your history of wrestling needs. Whether you're an old fan, whether you're a new fan, or you're an in-between fan, as some people like to call it, and that doesn't make sense, but some people have said that to me before, Wrestling's Past is your location. Once again, check out their website, wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk, and on Twitter for their daily tweets of the history of wrestling. Go to check out their Twitter account, which is at Wrestling's Past. Guys, you got to bear with me here tonight. I'm sitting here with a tin of Red Bull. I'm sitting here with an iPad with all the latest news and scoops of my script here to talk about this week on Outside the Ropes. So you got to bear with me. So if you do hear a slight pause in the podcast, it's me taking a drink to try and keep myself awake, as I am feeling, as I said, they're under the weather. But the biggest news coming out this week in the world of professional wrestling that was broke last Monday afternoon is the news that Bryan has officially retired from WWE and all professional wrestling. The news came out, Monday afternoon, UK time here. I didn't hear the news until about an hour or two later because I was currently busy. But once I heard the news, I thought it was maybe at work. We were talking to you guys on Twitter about it during Monday Night Raw. Is this a work? But it actually was not a work. Bryan has officially retired from in-ring action in WWE or any other professional wrestling company or anywhere else you want to consider wrestle around the world. They had a Bryan night, should we say, on Raw, where they were showing clips of his best moments in the WWE. He had a career before he even got to the WWE, as you all know. But he came out on Raw at the end of the night, and he was actually given more time than scheduled. Raw actually ran over, which was good to see WWE actually giving him some time to say goodbye to the fans and obviously a farewell speech. But this week's Raw was a really sad one at the end, where he came out at the end and he was thanking the fans, and the thing he obviously thanked was meeting great people around the world, the likes of little Conor Mahalik, which was a heartbreaker, really, should we say. Pulled the old heartstrings with that. Always did. Even when I hear about Conor Mahalik or watch the videos of Conor, it always chokes me up all the time. It always chokes me because I'm a father myself, and it breaks my heart every time to see that. But he also talked about the incident where the fans, as he said, hijacked Raw, where they're doing a segment for the time they were unifying the both titles, and it was in Bryan's hometown, where they were chanting his name instead of paying attention to what was going on in the ring. But the most important part, he says, he got to actually see it. His dad actually got to see that before he passed away 4 months later. Bryan has had a fantastic career, guys, in WWE. He's been a tag team champion. He's been an intercontinental champion, US champion. He's been WWE World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, even though it's the same thing, but you know what I mean. He's had great segments over the years where he had a tag team partnership with Kane. He was with AJ Lee. She was his girlfriend, cost him the world title in 18 seconds or something, whatever it was, at WrestleMania 28. He's had so many great matches over the years. But Bryan is obviously one of those characters that will obviously not be missed. But obviously everybody knows him away from WWE as well as his real persona, Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, where he was obviously trained by Shawn Michaels. He earned his craft around the world in different places, like gymnasiums and he says car parks and stuff like that. But he's mostly remembered for his times in the likes of Ring of Honor, etc., where he had some great matches. He was a Ring of Honor World Champion too. But Daniel Bryan's career has been one of those careers that you can go back and look on now and say that was a great career, up there with the likes of, great names in the business. But Daniel Bryan's career obviously will not be forgotten. He also said that it's not the last we've seen of Daniel Bryan. So maybe we may see Daniel Bryan on an on-screen character, maybe pop in every so often and say hello to the fans, maybe do a guest host of Raw, maybe do a general manager of Raw. But after his speech on Monday night, it was great to see. So many people appreciate Daniel Bryan for his career. Twitter went absolutely crazy on Monday night, even Monday day as well, where people were tweeting us and giving their thoughts on Daniel Bryan, their favourite matches and stuff. And, there were so many. The response was just phenomenal. Twitter blew up with hashtag thank you Daniel Bryan. But yeah, Raw was a sad one this week. With Daniel Bryan, that was the big news coming out of it. But our stories have come out of Raw, which we're going to talk about in just a second. We want to finish up here about Daniel Bryan. But, he did say he went on the ESPN Sports Centre yesterday, and he did say that, he wants to do more work with kids. He wants to do more things about concussions, because it did come out that apparently it was down to concussions and stuff like that, why he retired from the ring. A lot of people thinking because it was because of a neck injury. He did explain more about it on the interview with Jonathan Coachman. But, Daniel Bryan's got a big future ahead of him. He's only 34 years of age, which same age as himself, really. Daniel Bryan's got a long career ahead. He could do other things. He even cut his hair, and he said he cut his hair for charity, which was great to see. But people have been tweeting us and saying, "Oh, Daniel Bryan's going to go into the Hall of Fame this year." I think it's a bit too soon for Daniel Bryan. Maybe they will put him in the Hall of Fame this year. I don't know. Excuse me, but only time will tell. But he's been a great entertainer. Should he win the world champion more times? Absolutely. But can you really forget Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson? His career in WWE. I mean, one particular guy said one of his moments was when he returned at SummerSlam after being fired with the whole Nexus gimmick. But I mean, even before WWE, guys, his time at Ring of Honor, the matches he had in Ring of Honor was superb, and other matches you can find across YouTube and other platforms of other independent matches that he done across the world. But yeah, in closing, Daniel Bryan, great guy, behind the scenes as well. I mean, I've met him once before. He was a nice guy, great entertainer, over with the crowd beyond fact, unreal, so over, it's unreal. In this day and age with fans, with the reactions that like you used to get in the Attitude Era compared to tonight, who could actually compare that to Daniel Bryan? I mean, the reaction Daniel Bryan gets on a weekly basis when he came out was phenomenal. Look at WrestleMania 30, for example. 75,000 people chanting yes. Unreal. But yeah, I hope he has a great future ahead. Might I add, in his little speech where he did turn around and say he wants to make babies, and the fans chanted yes. I know this is a family show, but the comment that he made saying that's what Bree says was funny. But yeah, I hope he has a great future ahead of him, and be good to see him pop in every so often and say hello to the fans, maybe on Monday Night Raw or a pay-per-view or something like that there. So wish Daniel Bryan all the best, and thank you for his contributions to the world of professional wrestling. Now, coming out also of Raw this week, this is actually crazy. I noticed this once it happened, but the news has come out today, excuse me again guys, I do apologise, that Titus O'Neil has been suspended for 90 days because of what he done at the end of the WWE Network's after show thing regarding Daniel Bryan, where he actually grabbed Vince McMahon on the stage. You can actually go back and watch it. It's on YouTube. It's on the network. What was he thinking? He's actually been suspended now for 90 days. Again, he has come out today and done, I think it was an Instagram message, but it was more of a religious post with a photograph of him in a suit, but it doesn't explain the actions of what he done. People were saying he grabbed Vince to try and tickle Vince, but obviously Vince didn't appreciate that. But he's now been suspended for 90 days. Is he crazy? Is he mad? Unreal. Other things happening on Raw this week as well. The Dudley Boys turn heel. What a great move by WWE. Hopefully this is going to get the Dudley Boys over more with the crowd now, because you know yourselves from back in the day, the Dudley Boys can be one of the most hated guys in the wrestling business. Obviously they won't be doing promos like they used to do in ECW, where they used to really provoke the audience, but I'm sure they can go to a certain level on the PG environment. So great move by WWE to turn them heel. They turned on the Usos last week, or last Monday night there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's seeing a good heel Dudley run very very soon. Hopefully they go with it and it works out well. Other news as well coming out of WWE this week, guys, as well. Alberto Del Rio apparently is working with an injured back. He sustained injuries while wrestling, getting suplexed, by Brock Lesnar. They were talking, it was probably on the episode of Raw, not a house show, but they're keeping him going, as it's been announced that he's facing Kalisto at Fastlane, so Alberto Del Rio's not 100% at the moment. Maybe he'll work right through to WrestleMania and maybe take some time off. So, now, staying on the subject of injuries, news is coming out now that reports of Finn Balor being injured. Videos have obviously come onto YouTube and stuff like that of Finn Balor on crutches with his ankle taped up. We hear that it's not actually that serious, but he is injured. For the length of time he'll be out of, we don't know. But, it's obviously a big blow for NXT if he is actually seriously injured, but obviously we hear that he's not seriously injured, so again, we'll keep an eye on that. And staying on the news of NXT, as you all know, appearing back on NXT screens recently has been Alex Riley. And Alex Riley hasn't been on TV for a while. He obviously done it last time I saw Alex Riley on WWE television, which was NXT, where he was doing a thing with Kevin Owens. Then he had to go away and have knee surgery, but we hear that he is due back, and he's coming back with this new gimmick where he's going to be more aggressive, more with an attitude, which is good to see, because he has the look now, obviously, but he's been working out hard and he's got that type of look to him now where he's going to have a great attitude and he's going to pretty much be more of a heel. So I hope because I think Alex Riley's a great talent, and I'd like to see him getting a push sometime. But we'll keep an eye on the status of Alex Riley, and obviously keep you posted. Other news that broke the day after we recorded our last podcast: former ECW star Axel Rotten passed away. A lot of you have obviously seen the tweets and the Facebook messages that we sent out. Sad day in wrestling. Apparently he was found was in a hotel room, for what I hear. But it's sad news, really, and we've lost another star back from the old ECW days of Axel Rotten. We hear that Axel wasn't actually in a very good place towards his last few days of his life, but it's sad to see another one go, guys, in such a young age as well. So we do pass our condolences on to the family of Axel Rotten, who sadly passed away last Thursday, I think it was. Last Thursday, yeah. Also today, guys, as you know, this show's recorded on Wednesday. Today it was the 13th anniversary of the passing of the WWE Hall of Famer and the legend, one of the best in-ring technicians of all, one of the greatest, probably what would you say, the greatest, one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time, Mr. Perfect, who passed away on this day in 2003. So Mr. Perfect's been gone 13 years. Unreal, guys. 13 years. Where has the time gone? We saw tweets today from Curtis Axel, from his son. Obviously a little message about his father and stuff today. So, but it's hard to believe it's been 13 years since Kurt Hennig passed away. Unreal. Really, really unreal. And I was just thinking about it today, actually, all the guys that have passed away recently, or passed away over the years. Do you know something? Brian Pillman is actually dead 19 years this October. That's crazy. He died in October 1997. He's been gone 19 years this October. The day of the Bad Blood pay-per-view, he was found in his hotel. It's hard to believe. Owen Hart is gone, what? How many years is it now? 17 years nearly? 16? No. 17 years? 17 years. Unreal. Where's the time going, guys? The time just flies by. But it's hard to believe we've lost another one. Again, go back to Axel Rotten. We do obviously send our condolences on to the family of Axel Rotten at this sad time, because obviously it is a sad time whenever you lose another one, guys, but it's not good. Some news that came out actually today regarding, I know it's obviously this is a wrestling podcast, CM Punk. I know obviously he's a former WWE star, and everybody wants to keep an eye on what he's doing with his US career. His first fight's been announced, we all know that. But it's actually, and he done an interview there with MMAfighting.com. It was released today. The CM Punk revealed that he's actually scheduled to have back surgery to repair a herniated disc in his back. His first fight is now expected to be delayed. When is CM Punk actually going to have his first fight, guys? It's crazy. You know, I'll read this out what it says here, and I quote: "He says, my back has always bugged me. Figured it was just wrestling stuff. Turns out it was. It got bad enough to the point where I couldn't do anything. The week before I went to train for with the New Jersey Devils last month. One day I could manage. The next day I couldn't. I've been in agony almost a month. He's been to chiropractors, acupuncturists. He's been for massages and chiropractic therapy, I think it is, and nothing has worked. So he's now scheduled to go for back surgery, and his fight coming up, which was supposed to be soon, which apparently is now going to be held back even further. Unreal, unreal, guys. I mean, fans are getting really frustrated now that his first UFC fight's being held back again and again and again. You know, it's all we're going to do really is just keep an eye on it and see what happens over the next few weeks and months. Some TNA news this week. I'm sure you have probably heard now Awesome Kong's been released by the company. She was released there just after we recorded our last podcast. Where's she going to head to next? We don't know. Also, this week's Impact ratings are down again, which is not good for TNA. Once again, they're still on Pop TV. A lot of people in the States are complaining they can't get Pop TV. They averaged this week 243,000 views on their first run episode. That's actually down from last week, which was 295,000 views. The replay of the show only drew 110,000, down from 112,000 last week. But guys, TNA, they are. What do you say about TNA? The show aired on Pop TV and it was ranked 126th in the top 150 cable shows for that night. TNA is just sliding down the barrier, and fans are frustrated. You know, I can't even. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been watching wrestling for, dear God, I can't remember how many years now, and I can't even watch TNA now. TNA frustrates me. There's great talent at TNA, and it's so sad to see. You know, like Kurt Angle's officially gone from him as well. You know, where do they go from here? You know, and some of the storylines they're having at the minute, in my opinion, doesn't make sense. We've asked you before about this, guys, and you've come back to us with so many tweets and emails, you know, saying that they should close the doors. A lot of you loyal TNA fans who listen to this podcast have all said this, you know, that they should keep it open because they enjoy it, because it's different. But I mean, they've pushed the reset button so many times. Where do they go from here? But again, they're still putting on shows, they're still on a network, so at the end of the day, they're still going, so let's see how it goes. I want to comment, guys, as well on the segment that I brought up on last week's podcast of Outside the Ropes, where I mentioned the situation with Sonny. A lot of you guys actually sent me some great emails, which you can still email, of course, outsidetheropes@yahoo.com, saying your opinions of it all, where we talked about Sonny debuting in a adult movie. I said my piece on it last week, guys. A lot of you says that, you know, you agree with my thoughts. Some of you said that you'd agree to a certain point. But the answer of all the critics right now for this here, I said my piece last week. I stand by what I say. I'm disappointed in her for what she's doing, and it's sad, really. And that's all I can say about it. And at the end of the day, it's her choice. It's what she wants to do, and you know, what can I do really at the end of the day? Anyway, guys, I just want to make a little announcement as well. A lot of you have been asking us for a little while now, so to say, a little while, of a segment that we used to have on this show. God, back in the day, we haven't had it on the show now for about a year. Our little segment where we picked out the worst moment of wrestling in the week, whether it be from TNA, WWE, or wherever it's from, and name it the Jackass of the Week moment. A lot of you guys have been asking us over the last few weeks as well, where's this Jackass of the Week moment? Well, I'm here to tell you right now that we've spoke to the people who help us put this show together, and we've came to an agreement that starting next week, Jackass of the Week will return. That's right, it's returning. I don't know the reason why it was stopped before, but it is due to come back next week. So there you go. Jackass of the Week, which I actually thoroughly enjoyed. We started it back in the day whenever Tommy was here as a co-host. Also done it when Tony was here for most of the time. So yeah, we're going to bring it back next week, Jackass of the Week. And speaking of Tommy, I want to say a big shout out to Tommy out there, our former co-host of Outside the Ropes, has actually made an announcement in the last few days that he's actually getting back into the wrestling business again here in Ireland. He's starting to go to training school again. He maybe going to go back to refereeing. I don't know. He was a famous referee. He refereed for so many companies here in Ireland. He also refereed for companies in Germany. He also refereed for companies the likes of AWR, which is American Wrestling Rampage, which had people on the big names on the show like Sabu, X-Pac, RVD, just to name a few. But Tommy has made a decision that he is decided that he wants to go back to the world of professional wrestling. So, from everybody here at the show, Tommy, good luck to you, pal. Hope it works out for you. Maybe get you grab a wee interview with you sometime and see how you're getting on. But yeah, it's good to see you're getting back into the wrestling, the ring again, whether it be a referee or a manager or whatever. I think he was a good manager, to be honest with you, but I'm a referee, but sure. But good luck, Tommy. And whenever you make your debut, I'll try my best to get along to try and support you. Now, I'm going to read out some of your emails. I haven't done that for a few weeks either. I need to be taken out the back and hit a slap. But I've got some emails here that I've picked out throughout the email account. In fact, before I do that, I've had some comments today regarding the Mr. Perfect anniversary, which I want to read out to you. Excuse me. If you bear with me a second here, I'm currently sitting here with the show's iPad. As you know, Mr. Perfect, that was talked about earlier on. Let's have a look here and see. What I'm hearing today from on Facebook from Scott Evans says, I think his match against Bret Hart at SummerSlam 91 is still one of my favourite matches. Without a question, one of the best matches in SummerSlam history. Absolutely classic. The fact that Mr. Perfect actually wrestled the match with a bad back. Give Kurt Hennig all the credit in the world for that. Where he actually wrestled with a bad back. Daniel Taylor has just sent in a tweet tonight on Twitter saying my absolute favourite as a child was Mr. Perfect, unreal performer. A guy in here from at Big Quid Quid says the man who made me love wrestling was Mr. Perfect. One in here again from Jake says Mr. Perfect was an absolute hero of his. Should have been WWE champion along with others who were not champion, i.e. $1 Million Man and Ravishing Rick Rude. Okay. Another one in here again from Aaron saying that Rick Rude and Mr. Perfect should have been tag team champions, whether it be WCW or WWF. Interesting, because they were best friends. They went to school together. Both of them are now gone, of course, but great to see. But I'll go through some of your emails here, guys. Thanks very much for your tweets, of course. We tweet in here. Let's have a look here from David. An email, from David. Says, heartbroken after last Monday's Raw. We'll miss Daniel Bryan thoroughly. What was your favourite Daniel Bryan moment, guys? Keep up the good work. Okay, thank you very much. Well, my favourite Daniel Bryan moment? There's been not many. WrestleMania 30, of course. Pardon me. Where he won the US title from The Miz, which was a good one. His match with CM Punk, I think it was Night of Champions. He had some great feuds in Ring of Honor. But I would say probably the response that he got when he returned to SummerSlam was a good moment too. And of course the moment where they were hijacking Raw. But one of the funniest moments of Daniel Bryan had to be the night where he had all the fans in the ring and they were chanting yes. I thought that was a great night. But yeah, that's the answer to your question. So there you go. Email in here from Keith. Where's Keith from? How would I care to see where he's from? It doesn't say Keith, so hello. He wants to know actually about Sasha Banks. He wants to know where we think Sasha Banks is going to be going from here. Do you think she'll be Divas champion in the near future? Well, the thing is, she is due to have a triple threat match at WrestleMania with Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Now, I'm not giving away spoilers for the pay-per-view coming up Fastlane, but we hear that, Sasha Banks is maybe getting a title push very, very soon. Maybe she's going to win the title at WrestleMania. She is over with the crowd. She's now playing more of a face, which is good to see, of course, because she's so over with the crowd. Hopefully the WWE use her well. But I would like to see her getting a push and getting a Divas title run. Obviously, she's got many title runs coming ahead of her because she's a great performer, even before she got the WWE. But yeah, I would like to see her maybe get the title run very, very soon. One in here as well from Richard, wanting to know, why is Kevin Owens being pushed down so much to current TV and he's not being pushed as high as what he used to be whenever he was feuding with John Cena? Okay. I don't know. I mean, Kevin Owens, I don't know. It was supposed to be scripted and put in pencil that he was the feud with Lesnar for Mania. But obviously it's not going to happen anymore. Kevin Owens can be the real top heel. He could be the real nasty SOB in that company. He could be the top guy. Coming out, and the thing he had with Cena was great. They had he beat him, Cena beat him. Back and forward, and I think he should have won the feud, and it was great to see. I'm getting a big push with the top guy, but recently he has. I don't know. I mean, he had that great match at the Royal Rumble with Ambrose. Do I see a WWE title on him at the minute? The way things are going at the moment, probably not. But why he's getting that push to the top at the minute, I don't know. Is it because of the backstage guys? I don't know. Maybe things will change in the next few weeks. There you go. But guys, thank you very much for your emails. I do obviously apologise. I can't read them all out. I do apologise, of course. But I'm going to head on down the road here because I know it's a short and sweet podcast. If I have bored you this week because I sound miserable, I do apologise. Because all of a sudden I'm not feeling the great. As I'm sitting here at my home with this microphone attached and the podcast recording machine here in front of me, and I'm sitting here with a steady tin of Red Bull. I'm not feeling great, to be honest, so bear with me. But I want to give a shout out to a couple of friends before I hit the road down the road. British Wrestling Radio. I want to give a shout out to those guys. If you haven't listened to them before, check them out they're on our Facebook. And also on Twitter as well. Also check out our friends over here in Ireland. If you live in Ireland, we've got a lot of Irish listeners. Pro Wrestling Ulster, Wrestling.ie, Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, Celtic Championship Wrestling, Main Stage Wrestling, Over the Top Wrestling. All those different great companies. Don't forget to check them out. Don't forget to check out the Celtic Championship Wrestling Training School. They're on Facebook as well. If you want to become a professional wrestler in Ireland, you can check them out, or you can go to the PW training camp. I think it's in Lisburn now. So yeah, you can go ahead and train them. And also good friends to our good buddies at this show as well. Wrestling's Past again for thank you for supporting this show. As always, I'm gonna hit the road, guys, and get out of here. Oh, sorry, that's what I forgot to mention. I forgot to say before I hit the road here. It was one of the things was actually on my thing that was supposed to read out at the start of the show. I do apologise for that. Again, my head's in the clouds. You have to apologise. We've been told today. Now, we have a website, outsidetheropes.radio.com, which hasn't been updated for, dear God, a long time. But we've been told that we have now got a guy on board who's going to build us a website which will be updated daily. So he is going to be pretty much set up a basic site for us to post wrestling news and post the podcast and do all different things, little things like that. There are like polls and stuff like that, where we can go on and vote and whatnot. So I've been told that's starting now. He's started work, so once we get the green light to go ahead and say it's open, then we'll send out a tweet and a Facebook message and stuff. So stay tuned to outsidetheropesradio.com for updates and stuff like that. So there you go. I'm definitely hitting the road now. I'm going to head on here and get this show sent across by email to the powers that be and get this show out the road. I'm going to head on down the road myself, guys, and get an early night and try and sleep off this flu again. Sick 2 weeks in a row, I tell you. Never stops, I tell you. But anyway, guys, once again, thank you for supporting this podcast as always. And until next Wednesday, same time, same place. Well, not the same place. We'll be back in the studio. We'll not be here. Hopefully I'm better. For another edition, guys. Until next Wednesday, enjoy the rest of your week. And until next Wednesday, I will see you all back here for another edition of Outside the Ropes.